You with Sheriff Mark Lamb in just a second. Of course, we have Tyler Boyer from Turning Point Action here. This is a Turning Point Action Power Hour. That's what we're doing here. We're going to talk about the grassroots, what we can do to get Sheriff Lamb in office, what we're going to do in Arizona, but also New Jersey. We're going to turn our sights on New Jersey, so stay tuned for that. That race is, we got Jack is surging. Ciattarelli is surging in New Jersey, and that would be a huge, huge feather in the conservative cap. But before we get there, I want to tell you about WhyRefi, our good friends over there at WhyRefi. If you find yourself in a situation where you have private student loan debt, which of course there is $45 billion of private student loan across this country, I mean, it's distressed or defaulted, you need to call these guys, whyrefi.com. They're good patriots that care about students. They care about parents that have gotten themselves tied into their these private student loans of their students. By the way, college is a scam. Maybe don't take out so many loans to get these useless degrees. Go learn to trade. Go learn something actually useful, but that's a different conversation for another day. WhyRefi is great. They sponsor our campus tour, sponsor Turning Point USA. They help this show, and they've stood by us through thick and thin. So please give them a chance to help you. Go to whyrefi.com. That's YREFY.com or 888-WhyRefi34, whyrefi.com. Check it out. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. We have Sheriff Mark Lamb in studio live. He has just made news, folks. He is going to be running for Congress. Andy Bigg's seat that he is, of course, departing because he's running for governor of this state. When we endorse Andy wholeheartedly, he is going to run away with the primary if the polling holds, and Tyler's going to make sure that that happens. And we're going to do our part here on the show. So the seat is open, and the worst thing that could happen to this country is if the seat was open and then it got replaced by some rhino or some, feckless wonder that nobody knew and nobody cared about. Instead, you are rising to the occasion. We were talking about in the break that you are one of the few people anybody could think of with the name ID, the patriotism, the passion, the credibility on the most important hot-button topics, especially immigration. And so we're grateful to you that you're stepping to the plate. I know it's a sacrifice for your family. It's a sacrifice for you personally, and we're just grateful that you're willing to do it.
Well, I appreciate it. And look, the sacrifice, we look at, Charlie's lived a life. President Trump has made sacrifices. So many great, Andy's made sacrifices. We need those people, those true patriots that are unapologetic for America, for God, for family, for having children, all the things that, when I, at the memorial for Charlie, when you guys did that event, just all the things that he talked about and the way he talked about it, he was never apologetic for it. He was a stalwart defender of the values that built this country, and I'm honored to be in a position to where I could go out and do the same thing. I want to be the representative for CD5. I want to go to Washington, D.C. and defend the people's constitutional rights, their freedom. I want to be unapologetic about God, family, and the things that make this country great.
Well, and your family has a connection. We talked about this, and I don't want to get too emotional here with all of this, but we lost Charlie. I know you and your sweet wife Janelle went through the heartache of losing your son Cooper, and just the connection that's there with all of that. And I know that drives you.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that. And again, I don't mean to spring that on you, but
No, look, it's a big part of our life, and it's part of what drives us. Part of the reason why I ran for Senate was we lost my son, my granddaughter, my 22-year-old son, my 11-month-old granddaughter. My daughter-in-law died a few days later from somebody driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol.
That's right.
But what it reminded us is there is no guarantee for tomorrow, and that the only thing we do in this, the only thing we take with us is what we do in this life. And there's an old Danish saying that says that he who has the ability has the responsibility.
Right.
And it's hard to walk away knowing you have the ability to come in and defend the values and the freedoms that this country was built on, to defend God, to defend all of what we believe as a family. And losing my son and my granddaughter really put all that into perspective, and my daughter-in-law put that into perspective for us. Losing Charlie put it into perspective for me again and made me realize now is the time. We're, like Esther says, we're made for times like this. And so I know that's not exactly how she said it. I put it in Mark Lamb terms.
No, it's great.
We're made for such a time as this. And so I would be doing a disservice to my family, to my country, if I stood on the sidelines at this time. So.
Well, and I know that speaks a lot to those that know you very, very closely and very personally. People know you, I think, more broadly as the sheriff and the the big bad sheriff that's kind of representing conservative values against some of the negativity that we just talked about with the left just trying to run over our nation with lawlessness and crime. But that we just talked about, that crime has personally affected all of us that are sitting here and in different ways. And so having somebody step up like yourself to fight with that I know that's deep down, really imprinted on your soul, I think matters a whole lot for people to understand and know.
Yeah, well said. I see you as I think a lot of America sees you as a strong man who's willing to fight the good fight to keep us safe, to stand up. You were standing in a gap during a lawless administration that was allowing our country to be invaded, and you were patrolling that border day in, day out, and you weren't just patrolling it, you were waving the alarm bells, trying to tell the country and the world of just how bad it had gotten. And a man that's willing to do that when there's nobody that has your six, nobody has your back, and you're willing to stand in the gap and do that, that speaks to your character and your courage. And that's what we're going to need, especially as our brave ICE agents are getting targeted like never before. We need more support and backup for this fight right now.
Well, thank you for that. And look, America's best days are ahead. I truly believe that. But we need people that aren't afraid. During COVID, I stood up against the lockdowns. I stood against the mask mandates, the vaccines. Then we had the whole border issue. And I hope that people realize and see that I'm a proven conservative fighter. And I would love to continue that fight and do it on a national level.
We're gonna do everything we can at this show and at Turning Point Action to have your back, and because you've had ours, and you are a proven conservative fighter. Charlie loved you. He respected you, and I know that.
And marklam.us, by the way, but thank you, because I keep forgetting marklam.us.
Marklam.us. Donate, support his campaign, volunteer, get out to vote. We're going to be doing our part. Please do yours. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Mark.